Hi Chrome team! In this video I want to show you how to work with hair edges when you put a new background and another way how to get the best edges that look the most realistic when you have all different lightings like this. We have bright light coming in over here, we have dark light coming in over here, so it's a little tricky. So I'm going to grab a background that has some light spots and some dark spots. That's the best way to go with a background like this. So I'm going to copy this and then select the path that I already created, and I will feather by 1 and paste into, and then we got to make this fit. Okay. And now I'm just going to adjust the background. I think that's good right there. So the sun is the brightest part is synced up with the brightest part. So the first thing we do is we want to adjust the mask to make the hair edges as close to how they're supposed to look. So I just set the brushes on 60 right now. I'm going to put it all the way up to 100. And holding the shift key, I'm just clicking all the way around and getting rid of all that blue. But the problem with hair is that even when you get rid of the blue background, hair picks up whatever is behind it. So you can see right here that there's still some blue tones, and that's being reflected from the blue that was in the original image, and that's going to be a problem. It's going to stand out and look fake. So I'm going to show you how to handle that once we fix these edges right here. But this is the first step in it. I see a lot of edits where it's obvious that the editor didn't even zoom in and you know, work with a mask to get a really neat edge, and that's really important. So for areas like this is very tricky, because if we just get rid of it completely, it's just gonna look too harsh. So I like to set the brush to 60 and paint it out mostly, but just leave a little bit of it. So now if we look at this, it's starting to look more realistic, but we still have the blue in there, and it's too dark in this one spot. So what I do is I take the lasso tool and I set it to about 30, feather it at about 30 pixels. For this image, it might be a different amount for a larger or smaller image, but and then I go around the edge of the hair. You don't have to be super neat, but try to be somewhat equally away from the edge, like that. And then we're going to go into the original layer of the woman, and the first thing I'm going to do is open the levels, which is Command L, and I'm going to brighten up a little bit. So sometimes when you do this, you can see that a 30 feather was too much, because it's starting to brighten up. It's brightening up all the way out to here, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to cancel, and I'm going to go to a 20 feather. Let's try that. So go like this, all around the edges, and let's try adjusting the levels now. Okay, so that's definitely better. And now we got to get rid of some of that blue. So I'm going to open the curves where I always adjust my colors. I never use color balance. It's just too limited. I always use curves. Curves is more dynamic, and I want you guys to start using curves. But we need to get rid of some of that blue, and the opposite of blue is yellow. So I'm going to play with the yellow. A little bit. And it could be some cyan that we're seeing in there, which is the opposite of red. So I'm going to get rid of that. And it looks really bright. We don't want this, but for now we're gonna use this because we're gonna desaturate it after, once we get the tone right. So I'm adding some green. As you can see, this adds to the highlights and this adds to the shadows, as I've shown you before. So we want to adjust the highlights up here, or yeah, that looks about right. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm just going to open my hue and saturation, and I'm going to desaturate it. Can't go all the way down or it's going to look gray, but definitely adjust it down a bit. And then again, I'm just going to go in there and see what's left, some dark spots right there. And I'm going to color those out. Make sure that there's no more edges that look really like right here. We got to catch all these little things. It only takes a few minutes to get rid of the dark. Oop, I just put it right back. And then do the same thing around the shirt. Get rid of all the dark edges. Those dark edges give this away. It tells everyone this photo was photoshopped, because you don't have dark edges like that in a real photo. And get rid of that. And then the last thing that I'm going to do to just make this look real is adjust the color on the actual image. First I'm going to desaturate it. It should not be that vivid. And then I'm going to open the curves again, and I'm going to play with the color until it looks more like the color in her actual face. So she has, sometimes I just guess and I play around until it starts to match, and I think adding a little magenta makes it match her face. Add a little cyan. So this looks very realistic now. The one thing I notice is that it's still kind of dark. There's some dark hair right here against a light sky. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab that right there and adjust. And all these little things, they make a difference. Oh, that's too bright. Let's try a 10 pixel feather just for this one spot. Bring it up. There we go. So this is what I would do, and then the last touch would I would just, we want the attention to be on her face a little bit more, so it'd give it a little more brightness and shadow. And there it is. So that is what we do. And if the background is dark, we do the opposite. We grab the hair edge and we darken it using levels to match a darker background. So we would just bring it down, you know, until it blends in with the background. So that's the goal.